You could hear me, but I can't hear you. I'll make sure the intro is good so people actually want to watch it. Thank you for clicking on my video. This is the Cosmos Crypto and NFT channel. Talk about all things crypto, but today is going to be an NFT video. I have a guest today. He's a founding member of the Wolves of Rome card game. It's being developed on Cardano, and we've talked about Cardano games before. This is an NFT game, or I should say, it's a game that utilizes NFTs. And I think Cardano could be known as a gaming blockchain because some of the projects are backed by serious business minded teams. They're developing quickly relative to the rest of what's happening on the chain. I'll bring in Kyle right now. Thank you so much for having this discussion. It's not the first time we've talked, but you reached out to me originally. So that usually means that you're really prepared and you have something substantial to bring to the community. And I definitely appreciate it.
No pressure then. No, yeah, the guys from Ada Ninjas put me in touch, and that guy, watched a couple videos, and I was like, yeah, I'm keen. So I
Cool.
appreciate it, man, and it's been cool getting to get familiar with your content and watch some of the reviews. So definitely had to jump in and do this.
Well, I appreciate it. Definitely appreciate it when someone has something substantial to bring to light and using my platform. I love it. So um, I wanted to talk about the mint first or the collection first. I saw some samples and we'll show them. We're actually going to show a sample of the trailer for the game that you're developing. Why don't you take us through the collection and what's going to be minting on the 28th of July?
Cool, yeah. So upcoming, so it's confusing right now because you look at our page and you see all these Roman bust statues. If you're on our Twitter, and that is our Genesis NFT. Now, if you're familiar with gaming, you would know there's something called like the Founders Packs. You can get in a game when it launches, and you get a bunch of in-game aesthetics and a bunch of in-game items. That's kind of like what this is, but at the same time, we're in the NFT space and we understand, what works well there, and so we've turned this into a profile picture drop that is in theme with our game, which is in theme with our lore, but is also stacked with utility. So this first drop is there 2,000 3D high poly animated Roman statue busts. So if you remember, like Roman culture would commemorate heroes and gladiators with those half statues, like upper body to head, and so it would usually be these beautiful marble carved statues. And we kind of put this all together and decided that that would be the ideal way to pursue like a profile picture drop, and it would be in theme with our game. And so we knuckled down and started doing a bunch of work on. Oh, there it is on the screen. So there's an
There we go.
example of
Yeah, these are pretty cool.
and in theme with our game, Wolves of Rome. Obviously, Rome is run by these werewolf lichen type creatures, and this is them. So we decided to start off by each drop in the Empire series represents an empire in our game, and obviously, why not start with the main empire, which is the Roman Empire in our game? So 2,000 of these guys, they're 3D animated. Inside there, I mean, there's 2,000 in the supply. Inside, you get a high res MP4 render of that movement. So that's that back and forth movement you're seeing there on that the one at the top. If you scroll down, you'll see a couple more options of what they look like. We've got all kinds of pop culture references, Roman references, as you can see, space references, tech references. There's one smoking a joint in a palm tree T-shirt shirt over there. So yeah, we're
Oh yeah.
having fun with it as well.
You have
But
to have that in every NFT collection.
yeah, yeah, well, look, we didn't want to. We wanted to break the rules a little bit. We've got a very strict lore inside our game, but outside of that, we wanted to have some fun. So we used a lot of the cool Roman looking. There's like some golden statues here that are centurions. Clearly, there's a senator at the top there, like a scholar, and then we've got some guy with AK-47s. Like he's just random. So nice permutations and traits going on there. And basically, inside this, when you mint this, you get that. You get a GIF of that as well. You'll get 3 still frames from 3 different angles. So that's the first frame, the middle frame, and the last frame, so you can get
Wow.
the angle you like the most for your profile picture. You also get a 3D printable STL file of the core bust. So that's that like white bust that you saw at the top. You'll be able to 3D print that. You'll have that on your desk, whatever you want it for. That's kind of like a tribute to the tabletop games industry because that's the origin of card games. Is like tabletop and physical things. So
Right.
giving someone the ability to have something physical that just means something to them and they can keep. So we've thrown that in there. Inside there, we've also minting the original soundtrack for each empire. So with this first drop that's minting on the 28th and 29th, you'll be able to get the Roman original soundtrack from our game minted in there, and you'll also get the lore book with the Roman chapter. So like everything that's Rome in our story is in the lore book there. And obviously, as you mint the different seasons, you'll get the different chapters of the book. You'll get the different busts from the different empires, which is quite cool. And
All
then
right.
that's all the stuff you get in the NFT. I'll wait until you get to the part where we talk about the utility, because there's like that's a whole nother conversation of stuff we've loaded in there. But yeah, these are them. Personal favorite of mine is that first scholar there with the glowing wreath on his head. He's yeah, that's got to be my favorite. That just pops.
I like this one over here with the armor.
Yeah, centurions are going to be important in the collection. They are obviously you also have legionnaires. They're a little more common. If you mint a legionnaire, you're a foot soldier. You're important, but you're no centurion then. So it depends on what the mint gods grant you.
These are cool. Well, so when someone mints this, they're basically getting a bundle of NFTs, right? They're getting a bundle of NFTs that you can do different things with. I'm getting different file types of this NFT. Is that
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh, so yeah, inside
that's
this
what I mean?
NFT,
Yeah,
yeah, inside this NFT you get loads of different like video, GIF, statics, high res, 3D printable. Yeah, exactly.
I like that. Okay, this is really cool already. And again, whitelist will mint on the 28th. That's pretty soon. Public will mint on the 29th. And we didn't mention that there's a game being built around this yet. Um, but one more thing about the collection, this is going to be the first season. It's pretty small compared to a lot of Cardano mints. So you're leaving yourself leeway to mint season two, season three. How many will there be total?
So yeah, so small on purpose. I think we definitely didn't want to go the route of a 10K drop. If we talk about the utility and all the redeemable content that you get with one of these, it'll start to make sense really quickly why we didn't do a 10K drop with this, because we wanted to represent every empire. And when we did the math, if you let's say you collect a card pack for every one of these that you mint, that means that there are potentially 10,000 card packs being collected in one season. Um, that then damages the potential rarity and value of the cards if there's just too
Right.
many of them. They're just so we wanted to make sure that we lowered the supply, also made them something that was something special to own. It wasn't just something that you can that everyone's got. Like it is something that's special to own. So wolves, especially the wolves themselves, only 2,000 of them. In our roadmap on our white paper, we've got a couple of other seasons that are lined up. All 6 seasons represent the 6 core empires of the game. And so after wolves, we've got the Egyptian Empire. Those are the liches, the undead, all zombie-like. There'll be a slightly larger supply, probably around like the 2,200 mark. And then as you go, the supply increases until you get to the end. And with I think the Qin Dynasty is our last one of the 6. And so getting in early is super important. If you want to go for the ultimate collector status, if you want to grab all those benefits, and also getting in on the wolves whitelist you for the Egypt faction. And then if
Oh,
you
okay, that's cool.
so
No,
you can
I
do
was
them.
gonna ask about that. The
Yeah,
getting it early definitely has its advantages. What I like is you're gonna allow your community to grow into the collection as you go through the seasons. I think that's smart. I think I mean, it's common sense, right? Your community is going to be at its smallest the day of the mint, and then it's going to get better and better, bigger and bigger as your project gets better and better, more developed, and word just spreads.
yeah.
All right, I definitely want to talk about the game. I definitely want to show the um, the trailer. The trailer looks really good.
Hmm.
I want to talk about the team a little bit and how you started building way before this mint and are able to deliver a playable alpha without collecting a single dollar in mint money.
Yeah,
Why- you
yeah. So I
take
mean,
me through that process because I'm not a game developer, but I'm definitely interested in these games. What goes on behind the scenes in building something playable, and why not mint first?
yeah. So that's a good point. I mean, look, I'm not knocking any project that mints to raise to build. But I think that if you have the funds to self fund and take on the risk from your community, I think that you kind of should. Um, the idea that the community takes on the risk so you can build your dream is I think, a little bit backwards, and I think it's fair if you don't have it in your pocket. But we were in the fortunate um, situation where we did. We had a founding member who could help us get on our feet and get the ball rolling, and that's really cool. You know, someone sat down and we all as a team got together, and obviously, you know, took haircuts where we could to make sure that we were, you know, creating the longest runway as possible to get the build out. But yeah, we could self fund, and that was something important. And then when you can, you should, because at that point you're ready to roll with a working alpha. You're not asking someone to believe a promise that you're making. Like, we've delivered, we're showing, we're actively working on the alpha. There's a weekly update to the build. Every Thursday we update the launcher. We have, I think, now close to 200 testers that are in the testing community that are playing the game daily. So for me, when it comes to like announcing this mint, it's not so much like, hey, look at this NFT, look at all these cool promises I'm making. It's straight to, look at this game that we made. Now we're going to do an NFT. We didn't ask you, we didn't ask you to take a risk on us. I mean, there's always a risk because, we have hopes and dreams for what the game will be in 10 years from now. And that's the timeline that we're thinking on. We're thinking like long term, and we're launching, within 8 months, we're going to launch the beta, which is like on chain, reading the wallets, doing all that stuff. But now, we've built a game, and we're not asking you to believe a pipe dream or a big promise. We've got it. Like, we're launching an NFT for something that exists.
Yeah,
So,
I think an important question that people should, have in their minds to at least ask before they mint a project that they just heard about that week
yeah,
is, what percentage of the roadmap has already been hit before the mint?
yeah,
If it's zero, if it's zero, maybe the likelihood of carrying out the full roadmap is not that realistic, right?
yeah,
Maybe it's going to take way longer, or it's going to have to be modified several times. And given the market conditions, I think communities will get a little bit more selective with what they mint. It's
mm,
natural. And seeing a team that's proven in delivering something before they mint anything, I think it's notable. I think it differentiates your team quite a bit. I
yeah,
really do. Hey, listen, maybe when ADA was, you know, $2.75, you could get these 10K mints with these long roadmaps that haven't
mm,
even been touched yet. You could get it through. Um, Now, I think that um, I don't think you could do that. I don't think and expect it to mint out. I think that the way you're going about it is definitely something that differentiates your team.
mm.
And we're gonna look at the trailer.
Sharpen your blade, Legionnaire. The battle lines have been drawn. Never forget, we are collect, conquer, own.
That's the soundtrack you were talking about.
Yeah. That's by Mirai Music. He is super talented. So we cut the footage to some random stock track that I found online, like a trailer for a movie or something. And then I sent it to him, and he was like, "Yeah, I can do better." And then he just cut. So we just did it for the timing, and he took out the audio, and then he redid the audio, and it was just, man, he's just such a wizard. I love him. He's actually involved in a bunch of projects in the Cardano space, and he was the Martin Lawrence thing. I think he was involved. He was Ada Ninjas. The guy's just like, yeah, he's moving. It's very proud to be working with him on that, and it just. I like, I know it's like laughing at your own jokes or something, headbanging to your own music. But when I watch that trailer, I get like I'm smiling when I watch it
Yeah,
because I'm still so proud of like how it came out and how it shows off, some of the gameplay and just the voiceover, just all the cool little pieces that come together.
Well, I mean, you should be proud. I mean, this is something that's actually coming to fruition.
Hmm.
It's not promises. It's not a roadmap that looks like it's impossible to hit. And just to be clear, anyone's watching, there's an alpha version that is playable, right? The trailer is not the whole thing, which is really, really important because that means you're part of the way there to delivering the next phase.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the game itself, style of the game, who's going to be interested in this,
Hmm.
where the inspiration came from. Um, yeah, give us the rundown on the overall game itself.
Cool. So pretty much all of our team came from a love of Magic the Gathering, old school card game. I still have tons of cards. I grew up playing that game, and I actually met the rest of the team, wanting to help with some of the media. And at the time when I first met the team, I knew what NFTs were. I didn't have any, and I was kind of like, I'd seen the worst. Like when you're on the outside, you always see the worst of of NFTs, and so I was like, do I want to get involved in this? Like, I don't know. It looks cool, and then I saw some art, and I'm like, oh, it looks really good. It reminds me of Magic the Gathering, but the NFT thing was a problem for me. It was like it was the barrier. Like I was like, if it was a normal card game, maybe I'd do it. And then, I sat down and they explained, tell me what you like about Magic the Gathering. I'm like, well, I like all the different pillars of Magic. I like the strategy, I like the gameplay, I like collecting, I like owning, I like the fact that my cards are valuable. I can sell them. I have a valuable collection. And they're like, all right, all of that stuff you don't get in your traditional digital card game. Like you just get the gameplay. That's what you get. You don't have the ownership. You don't have the collecting. You don't have. And I was like, oh, the light bulb started flickering, right? Like I started understanding like the use case, and then once I started working with the guys, I started getting stuck into every Twitter space. I just like assimilated as much information, and because that light bulb moment that I had, I knew that we could be part of making that light bulb moment for other people, and that was kind of one of the things I was so proud of. We approached the game in a way that you'll notice if you watch that trailer. Nowhere on that trailer does it say blockchain, right? Nowhere on that trailer does it say NFT. It just says build, conquer, own. We all know what own means.
That's
The
correct.
traditional gamer, the users we're trying to acquire off chain, they don't need to, like right now, they can play our game. We need to give them a reason to like something, to have fun. And then we can make it all make sense. And so a big part of what we want to do is give people the same feeling we had, So players that like Magic the Gathering, Legends of Runeterra, Hearthstone, even Pokemon, that kind of gameplay, that's the style of game that this is. Obviously, the artwork is a bit gritty, so it's more like Magic the Gathering. It's a little bit more hectic, if I can say. We're not afraid to like be serious in lore and theme. So you can see some undead ghoul made of scarabs. That's nightmare fuel right there. That's Decimus, one of our legendary characters. So the art is a big draw card for us. The gameplay is strategic. You build your deck through cards that you have. And obviously there's competition. You have to be competitive. You have to win. So there's a bunch of reasons. There's a bunch of different. As a card player, there's a bunch of things that might like interest you. And that's what I wanted to replicate. I wanted to tick all the boxes I got from physical cards in a DCG. And the only way to do that successfully for me, once I realized what this was on the blockchain. I couldn't get that from a normal DCG. I could get some of those boxes checked, but not all of them. And so this was an exciting undertaking for us as card players.
Yeah, it seems like the challenge is going to be attracting gamers, and they won't even know necessarily they're interacting with a blockchain using cryptocurrency or dealing with NFTs. They're going to be attracted to the game because it's fun. Because
Exactly.
they want to
You
play
won't
it.
even need to. Yeah, you won't even need to own an NFT to play the game. The cards are on a choose to mint system. I think what the difference is if you play a game and you take a game seriously and you collect a bunch of cards, you're going to learn every aspect of that game. And eventually you're going to learn that someone can sell cards, and you're going to wonder why you can't sell cards. You're playing the same game. And at that point, you're going to go, oh, wait, so I need to go do this thing, and I can actually make money. Like someone will play against you. You'll beat them with a legendary card, and then they'll DM you and they'll say, are you willing to sell that? That's crazy. That combination you got is crazy. I'd love to get that card. Do you have a spare? And you'd be like, well, what do you want for it? And they'd say, I'd give you, the equivalent of $300. And you'd be like, what? If you come from the DCG space, you're like, how do I have to break the rules? Do I sell you my account? Like, how do we do this? We're like,
Right,
no,
right.
we encourage it, right? So the biggest problem is people are willing to embrace the blockchain when they have a reason to, but until you've given them like some kind of magnetism to learn, they're not interested. They will just call it the NFT scam, right? That's what people do. They see NFT, they're like, ah. And so we have to make it make sense, but in order for them to even care enough to listen, they have to be enjoying the product. And so we focused on just everything on making it fun and making a fun product.
Yeah, I think it's in everyone's best interest to support any project that's related to entertainment because that's going to bring people in, and it's going to be one more step towards widespread adoption of blockchain technology. The these No matter how great these PFP collections are, or these
Mm,
DAO tokens, it's not going to bring people from outside the crypto space in. Right? If I use Twitter and I don't know what Bitcoin is, I'm not going to learn what Cardano is to buy a PFP on
mm,
JPEG Store. But if there's a game and I'm a gamer and I get attracted to a game, I can learn that way. And then I have a network of friends who I've played other games with that I could let them know, hey, I played this game for like 3 months and then I was able to sell my whole collection when I
mm.
moved on to the next game, and I made back all my money and then some. Right.
Yeah.
And this is going to be a heads up card game. Right.
Mm.
We're not going to be waiting years for something to be built using like Unreal Engine 5.
No, no, we're like I said, we built the alpha in Unreal, playable right now. So you could join our Discord, say, teach me how to play, and we'll do it. And then we're the beta is being built. So right now you see the cards are on a 2D almost like environment. It looks 3D. It's got depth and stuff, but we're actually building the whole engine in a 3D space just so that we can get more immersive with it. Once again, that's kind of like a gaming move, not a blockchain move. So definitely want to create as much fun as possible. And then we're building out other facets of the game. So think of the game as concentric circles. The core card game is the innermost circle. Outside of that is a bunch of other gamification and account stuff. So like going to the forge and forging a new game board for yourself, or forging monuments for your game board that you can customize your game board that enhance your rewards when you win. So just cool little things that you can do. You can notice that the commanders promote in that trailer. You'll see that the Decimus commander promoted halfway through, and then that's when we started winning the game in that trailer. Those promotions can be unlocked almost like a skill tree to find alternate promotion. So there's a lot of immersive gamification that builds a lot of recall value, a lot of how can I say retention to players,
Right.
and that's a big focus. So that is a lot of what we're building in the beta. The alpha is really the core games, innermost concentric circle. Does our game work? Is it fun to play? That's the goal with the alpha. And if it isn't, let's fix it. Let's make it more fun.
Right.
Is it fair? Is another big one. Like is everyone winning with the same deck? That would be a problem. So understanding what the metas are and game balance, because that will kill fun really fast if you break that. And that then leads to like the big problem any gamer who's listening right now, who's played a card game or any game, will ask when you're dealing with content in a game is power creep. And power creep is basically when the content creator, like the game creator, is incentivized to make new content better than old content from a game balance perspective in order to sell it. And that's another problem that the blockchain helps us solve. Essentially, we don't sell individual cards, we sell card packs, and we earn off commissions of card trading. So we make our every effort to make sure that old cards have relevance, because that's where we're going to earn. We're not going to earn off
Right.
new cards as much as we're going to earn off
That
old
that's a
cards. So,
problem in the entire NFT space, especially a team releases their wonderful rarity chart, and the
mm,
bottom 2/3 of the collection is no one wants it. They're aiming for those top rarity
mm,
just because they're rare. I would argue that all NFTs are rare, right? There's
yeah,
only one of every NFT, and if a team can figure out a way to add value or add utility to increase the value of every individual NFT in their collection, they've cracked the code. And
mm,
you're going to do this in the game, um, and you're incentivized to make sure that the game is improved. That's basically what you said, right?
yeah.
No, I like the way this sounds. I have not played a game in a long time. The last game I played, um, it was one of those just grinding games where you couldn't let up
Mm,
for even a day, otherwise you got demolished by somebody else. And then you're building up, building up, building up, but it's in the game. Once you stop playing, you leave it all
Yeah.
behind. All your time is wasted. Um, and if you can't play the game for 2 days, it's like the spell is broken. You don't want to go back to the game because it's in
Yeah.
disarray, right?
Yeah.
That like that OCD that attracts you to this grinding game where you're collecting things and you're building things up. And you're trying to be as efficient as possible. Once you get that spell broken, you leave it all behind and you have nothing to show for it. In your
NFT.
game, what
Yeah.
will people be able to sell in in,
Oh,
in this game?
cool.
So
So we have a
that's a good
yeah.
question for people that don't even really understand NFTs 100% or just don't like them.
Cool. So let's say you don't know anything about NFTs. You come to our game, you get your core deck. The game is free to play. You download it, you log in, you get that like core deck that everyone gets. That's built into your profile. Everyone gets that. You take that deck and you play a couple games. You perform a couple quests, maybe do some single player stuff, and you earn a bit of currency or you earn a card pack. You open that card pack, and there's some new cards. You can switch out some cards from your deck. You can take some of the new cards that you got. Right now, nothing is an NFT. Everything is just exactly how it would be in every other game. Only the difference is the card pack you open, those server side cards are from an edition, and you can choose to mint those if you want to because they're on your account. If you do mint them, you can then trade them. And obviously, if you trade them, they leave your account and they go to someone else's account. That's where things get interesting. That's where most games struggle. We've built a system where you can choose to mint based on what you open. You don't have to mint everything. You don't have to mint anything. But if you want to trade, you can mint. And with our game, it's quite important that there's a huge benefit for interacting with the blockchain because our kind of game, you don't want to be building your deck of just random cards. You want some strategy. You want this card and that card to work together. This gives you one life, and when you gain one life, you deal one damage. You can build combinations like this. So this incentivizes a lot of secondary market buying pressure because we don't sell individual cards. We only provide card packs you can earn. So you then would go to the secondary market, you'd log on JPEG Store or maybe our Wolves of Rome marketplace, and you would see what people have up. And at that point, those would be NFTs, NFT cards. And you could buy one, you could stick it in your deck, and you could curate and snipe out your entire deck on secondary and get all the cards you want for a specific combination, which is a lot
And
of fun.
so technically, once they choose to mint, now they're managing a wallet.
Yeah.
And without even really knowing anything about wallets. And no, this
Yeah, and
sounds
at that
really
point,
good.
you can onboard someone when they have a reason to be onboarded. Like a lot of the time, you take a friend, you're like, "Let me show you the blockchain," and you try, and they're like, "Ah, I don't want to know, I don't want to." But at that point, when you tell them, "Listen, you've got a $500 card today," they will learn the block. They will learn how to create a wallet.
Yeah.
They have magnetism towards learning the stuff, so they will do it. And so that's what we want to create. Um, some
If,
some cool
if
ways
you
to
told
onboard.
me to play one of those grinding games, you got to pay and you have to keep these 24 seed words safe for the rest of your life. I'm like, forget that. But like you said,
Mm.
someone ends up with a card that they could choose to mint and it's worth whatever on the marketplace. Now they're incentivized to do it. Right. So,
And we
no,
obviously are incentivized to make minting as easy and as cheap as possible. So when you have won a card and it's in your account, the mint fee is not like what people are used to paying on drop. It's not like 50 ADAs, it's like 2 ADAs. It's like we're really not getting in the way of minting because we want people to be minting. We want them to be trading. What makes it hard to attain a card is you have to attain enough in-game currency or glorium or win a tournament and win a card pack or win enough currency to buy a card pack in the game. That's where it becomes tricky, and it's obviously random. So you could get a super rare card, you could get a kind of rare card. But either way, I think it makes it fun and it gamifies the process. And the game itself it functions and is playable independent of NFTs in the blockchain. And that sounds like a bad thing because we're all NFT people and why are we doing this? But listen, we're people. When we go to the shops, we don't interact with the blockchain across the road. You don't have to make everything decentralized. I think
right.
there's places where it's really useful, and we're trying to use it where it makes sense to use.
So no, I like this. I mean, just to sum up, it's you're a gaming company first. You're building a game, and you're just using NFTs in the blockchain where it makes sense, and it's gonna onboard people not only to your game but onto the Cardano blockchain inadvertently, right? So I think I really hope you know this roadmap can get hit in the current market. The current market conditions are not ideal, but the fact that you've already been building, I think it gives you definitely an advantage over another game that was counting on multiple mints to get them through. Is there anything before we wrap up? Anything you can guarantee to the community once the mint is over? Not necessarily a specific day or month that
Mm.
it's going to happen, but what can you guarantee to the people that are going to mint your collection?
Well, first of all, the collection itself. Some notes there. This collection was not algorithmically made, so we've also focused on, despite all the utility, and I might skim through that utility for you guys. But I think the most important thing is they were, from an aesthetic perspective, it was put together by someone who understood the art and the lore and wanted to make everyone special. So we had a team of 4 designers, and in the original artist Biz, who put this all together. He created all the parts, and then the designers kind of curated all the combinations. We had enough combinations. We could have made 35,000 of these things with the traits we had, but we chose to make 2,000 good ones, so that you don't mint something and go, "What on earth is this?"
Yeah,
It's more like. So that was important, and that's something cool. And then we've got the utility to the holders. We've got redeemable founders cards, redeemable normal card packs, which acts as like a lifetime subscription. Every time there's a new edition, you get one card pack if you're holding one of these. Um, In-game assets like Glorium and stuff you can get started with, which is really cool. And then obviously just recognizing that you were there early. So verified profile picture in-game, and the in-game aesthetics. So if you mint the Roman one, you get the Roman board. If you mint the Egypt one, you get the Egypt board. If you mint all of them, you can choose. You have all the boards. Technically, you can cycle between them, that kind of thing. So there's a lot of like thought around kind of doubling up what we can do in game as well as what we're giving you. We didn't want to. This NFT drop was kind of something we manufactured out of what was already a great game. So yeah, I mean, like, look, I hate making promises. That's why we built a whole game before before talking
well,
about
there
any
you
of
go.
this. Uh,
Your guarantee was already fulfilled, right? So I
yeah,
guess
yeah.
I guess that makes sense. Listen, I'm gonna mint this for sure, and I don't mint that many projects, but
Mm,
like you said, there are a lot of perks to getting in first, and I love just the gaming proposition for Cardano right now,
mm,
and everything sounds good. I would love to do a follow up a couple months down the road with all the in game mechanics, the tokenomics,
mm.
anything that you ran into that you had to modify, and also just your progress overall, growing the community and continuing on with your mints. Hopefully hopefully you're not too busy for that once the game gets launched.
Absolutely not, man. I would love to, and I've enjoyed our chats. I've jumped into some Twitter spaces with you. I'm going to be following. I enjoy the content. I like learning. You know what I like about you specifically, if I can end off on this, is you are dabbling in multiple chains. I never hear you fud a chain or talk. You're like an open-minded person who is a critical thinker, and I really enjoy your content. And I'm gonna keep watching. And as soon as we have some noteworthy updates, we're gonna hit you up and come chat
Oh, I
chat about it.
appreciate that, man. Yeah, I'm just forever curious about this, and I don't think the blockchains are in competition with each other. I really don't.
Yeah,
So good luck, man. It'll be nerve wracking
awesome.
those couple days.
Thanks, dude. Appreciate it.